Hey guys, Dokusei Toxic Wolf here. Back with another story time with Dokusei. Seeing as how I'm still having a little bit of a hard time getting in contact with my brother Xenoevi, I decided to bring you another one of my OCs. Another origin story. But unlike Seitaro and Tetsuo Scarlet, this is actually one of my original OCs. One of my first OCs because I made this OC back in middle school, where I met my friend, Sun God 2009, and I've known him since. And the origin story I'm going to be telling you today is the origin of Tetsuo Uchiha. You see, to understand the origin of Tetsuo Uchiha, you need to understand this. This was my very first OC. And me and Sun God 2009 were like big Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z. We were big anime fans. So we decided to incorporate pretty much it's like a what if Dragon Ball, Bleach, and Naruto all like exist in one universe. So the or how the origins of Tetsuo Uchiha takes place is that he was born through GT Bola and Goten. This was way before Super, but with Super being out, we decided to also incorporate Dragon Ball Super into this. So, as you all can tell, he is the grandson of both Goku and Vegeta. And let me fix my webcam a bit. There we go. So he's the grandson of both Goku and Vegeta, meaning half Saiyan. But with Bola, how she feared what Vegeta's reaction would be, she asked Goten to have Felice raise their son, but Goten made sure that he would be there for Tetsuo. But to make sure that it cannot be traced back to Bola, they made a wish on Shenron to where the human part of him would match Felice. And during this time, Felice was also a Soul Reaper. So Felice was an Uchiha Soul Reaper. She was from the Hidden Leaf Village. And after that wish had been granted, Tetsuo, Goten, and Felice all moved into the Uchiha compound. Goten and Bola, they could trace their origins back to the Senjus through Bulma and Chi Chi. So in this what if story me and Sun God 2009 did, we had it to where Bulma and Chi Chi's families originated from Hashirama and from the Senju clan, while we had it to where Felice's family was originated from Uchiha. But the Saiyans, though, they are just that, just Saiyans. Whole different planet. But because Tetsuo was born with Senju blood inside of him, he was gifted with chakra. And he also learned about Hashirama through history books. And he eventually later discovered wood style, that he could do wood style jutsu. Well, but because of the wish, him being wished into the Uchiha bloodline, he did end up gaining the Sharingan. It started off with the one ring Sharingan, like all Uchihas would have, and then from there, through training it, he eventually unlocked the 2 ring and the 3 ring. But during the time he was training it, he made so many friends. Like Sasuke. Sasuke was literally like a brother to him because they were from the same clan. Naruto, because police, instead of like police treating Naruto like a Jinchuriki, police literally treated Naruto like her own. So Naruto pretty much was like another brother to Tetsuo. And the next, I know all you Sasuke Sakura fans like out there are gonna hate this, but before the shipping was confirmed, me and my friend Sunga 2009 made it to where Tetsuo Uchiha ended up with Sakura Haruno. So, and this going down the line, it will explain like what really happened. But through the years they were in the academy, Sakura always had a crush on Tetsuo instead of Sasuke. And one day, Valise had given birth to a quarter Saiyan Uchiha Senju, Tetsuo's younger sister, Alexis. And like with Alexis, she was gifted, as like with Tetsuo, she was gifted. But on that fateful day when Tetsuo came home late because he was training, the Uchiha clan massacre. And when Tetsuo saw Valise's body, his three-ring Sharingan ended up evolving into the Mangekyo. Because his mother was the closest thing to him. And Alexis and Goten were gone. They were. Tetsuo thought they died because Goten had made shadow clones and made it look like realistic as possible. So Tetsuo ended up awakening the Mangekyo, which was that of a sun. His was like a solar Mangekyo Sharingan. It had the power of absorption, while Valise's had the power of redirection. And of course, during this time, Valise had a Sanpakuto, which was Trunks' one sword. Not the one from Super. One Tapion had given him. One we see in the start of the Android saga where he faced Mecha Frieza and King Cold. And it actually turns out that the sword was a Sanpakuto. And that Sanpakuto's name is Ramiko. But with Tetsuo, when he gets it, he can't draw it because there is actually a seal placed on it to where Tetsuo cannot draw the sword until he breaks through his limit. And when that happens, the seal will be broken, and Tetsuo can then draw his Sanpakuto. But when Tetsuo lost control and did awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, he also awakened something dark within him. What he awoken same time as the Mangekyo was his inner hollow. Yeah, I can also do like a inner hollow Ichigo voice. But pretty much the hollow took over, nearly killed Itachi, but Itachi got the lucky kunai shot onto the hollow mask, breaking it, making Tetsuo pass out. And from there, both Sasuke and Tetsuo shared a common dream to avenge their clan and kill a certain someone, which in this case was Itachi. However, However, because Sakura was always there for Tetsuo, she kept him in the light, while Sasuke, as we all know, followed the path of darkness. And when the tuning exams happened, the holification of Tetsuo Uchiha actually got worse. Because when he fought Orochimaru, he went from quarter mask to half mask to literally like 3/4. And the hollow was in legit almost full control. Tetsuo was close to killing Orochimaru with a Sero, but Sakura, wanting to save the man she loved, came up from behind, kind of like how she did with Sasuke, and just begged Tetsuo to stop and to come back to her. And of course, with that, Tetsuo was able to regain control over his body, but he passed out. Orochimaru real seriously wounded. He fell back, and from there, the rest of the Chunin exams, Force of Death, progressed the same way. Sasuke gaining the curse mark, that happened as well. And then the time came for the preliminaries of the third round. This is where we actually had fun changing some stuff up. The one thing we really changed was Tetsuo Uchiha against Rock Lee. Because we wanted to pose a question on anyone that was interested. Kaioken or the Eight Inner Gates? Tetsuo and Rock Lee were tied in both speed and power base forms, even when they removed their weighted gear. And when Rock Lee went into the first gate, Tetsuo matched him with basic Kaioken. When he went into the second gate, Kaioken times 2. Third gate, Tetsuo started to push his body, when Kaioken times 3. But when Rock Lee went into the fourth gate, Tetsuo really pushed his body, and went Kaioken times 4. But Rock Lee, having 5 gates during this time, I think he had 5 gates. Let me know in the comments section if Rock Lee had 5 of the 8 inner gates unlocked during the early Naruto stages, not the Shippuden, early Naruto. But Tetsuo not having proper control of Kaioken, it put some massive strain on his body. And of course, Rock Lee was fighting to win Sakura, but right as the ref was about to call Rock Lee the winner, Tetsuo stood up. His head was down, arms were down as well. And when Rock Lee went to do his Leaf Hurricane, Tetsuo just dodged it. Goku, feeling this, used his instant transmission, get to the preliminaries, only to see Tetsuo unlock Ultra Instinct Sign, the same one he used against Jiren when they first fought. Not Omen and not Mastered. Sign. When Goku used the Spirit Bomb as the catalyst. And Tetsuo just started winning. It got to the point where Tetsuo was like, you know what? It's over, Rock Lee. You've lost. Tetsuo then looked to the ref and said, hey, look, call the match. I've won. And of course, the ref did, announcing Tetsuo Uchiha as the winner. Gaara and Naruto, Sasuke, Neji, Gaara, Temari, Shikamaru, pretty much everyone made it. Everyone that was in the original still made it. Naruto, Naruto fought Kiba and won. Neji fought Hinata, which was a badass fight, and won. Kankuro won. Tamari won. Shikamaru won. Maru Sasuke won. Tetsuo Uchiha won. Gata won. So it was those 8 that advanced to the next round of the tuning exams. It was the matchings went like this: Tetsuo against Neji. No, it was still Naruto against Neji. Then it was Tamari against Shikamaru, just like in the show. What? Hold on. Tetsuo, Naruto, Sasuke, Shino. Alright, I just remember. So it was Naruto against Neji, Tamari against Shikamaru, Shino versus Kankuro, which led to Shino forfeiting. Gata versus Sasuke. But before Tetsuo's match could happen, because in all honesty, I'm still trying to remember who he fought, Gata went berserk and almost unleashed Shikaku right in the stadium. But Kankuro and Tamari got Gata out of there as the mission to destroy the Leaf Village began. So of course, before the semifinals of the tuning exam, 3rd round, Tetsuo had trained with Naruto and Jiraiya, while Naruto unlocked his summoning jutsu being frogs, toads. Tetsuo's was wolves. I'm not talking like the ninja hounds like Kakashi. Tetsuo's was actual like wolves. You want a good example? Think the Zinogre from Monster Hunter. And with Tetsuo having unlocked the wolves, he was able to like further help. And all during this time, he was also training the Mangekyo Sharingan. But like fast forward a bit, he also did learn how to do the Chidori as well. So that would later play into like a bigger picture. But when when Naruto, Tetsuo, and Sakura met up with Sasuke, and Sakura got caught by Gata's like Shikaku sand arm, pinning her against the tree. And Tetsuo uh, hated that he couldn't really help. But the moment he heard Sakura scream in pain, he just snapped. And instead of the inner hollow taking over, he broke through his limits. And he had achieved Super Saiyan Grade 1. The same form that Goku first achieved against Frieza. And because Tetsuo had broken through his limits, his Sanpakuto could now be drawn. And now that he was able to use his Sanpakuto, that would later open even more for him. And after Naruto and Tetsuo fought against the Shikaku, and Naruto was able to wake Gata up. Tetsuo ended up lying down to Sakura, catching her, and when she opened her eyes, seeing Tetsuo with the Super Saiyan golden hair, she smiled a bit before passing out. And if you're all wondering if Tetsuo was born with a tail due to him being born half Saiyan, yes. Yes, he was. So not only did he have the golden hair, but he also had the golden tail. And it was with this that Tetsuo, when Goku and Vegeta felt it, they took Tetsuo to the hyperbolic time chamber. And they trained him. Showing him Super Saiyan Grade 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and lastly, Super Saiyan 4. Until Tetsuo was like thoroughly ready to learn about God Ki. And it was there that they had taught Tetsuo to maintain the Super Saiyan form without needing to like transform into it. So when he left the hyperbolic time chamber, he came out like how Goku and Gohan did, already in Super Saiyan. And when that was after the funeral of the third Hokage, Sarutobi, who was like a grandfather to Tetsuo. And of course, this would later lead to Itachi coming into the picture, along with Kisame trying to get Naruto. And of course, when Sasuke fell into Itachi's Tsukuyomi, Tetsuo just came out and was like, finally, I can avenge my mother, my sister, my father, and our clan. And of course, Tetsuo was already in Super Saiyan, so he just went pure Sharingan on formed the Chidori and just charged straight at Itachi. But when Itachi tried to use the Tsukuyomi, Tetsuo countered it with his Mangekyo, causing Itachi a bit of pain. And Tetsuo had learned to actually channel the Chidori from that massive like lightning blade type move that Sasuke has into a fist. So when he was close enough to Itachi, he was gonna do the first ever Chidori fist. But of course, Kisame he blocked it with the Samehara. And Jiraiya then came in and saved Naruto, Sasuke, and Tetsuo. And went causing Itachi and Kisame to get away. Which later led to Tetsuo going with Naruto and Jiraiya to find Tsunade and learn the Rasengan. Naruto and Tetsuo trained together to learn the Rasengan. But because Tetsuo was a bit more like used to chakra control and chakra nature, he was able to do the Rasengan a lot more quickly. And he then helped Naruto perfect his Rasengan. So when the battle against Orochimaru and Kabuto happened, instead of a three-way deadlock, it was a four-way deadlock. The Chief Toad, Katsuya, Amba, or whatever Orochimaru's snake was, and Jin, Tetsuo summoning, all four of which knew each other. And it later led to Tsunade becoming the fifth Hokage. And with that led to Tetsuo going to the ninja to the land of snow. And from there, when Sakura's back got like pretty much broken by one like big snow shinobi, Tetsuo just lost it, went Super Saiyan 2, Chidori fist right through the giant one that had stomped on Sakura's back. And when the other one was trying to run away, all Tetsuo did was Vegeta's Big Bang attack, obliterating him. And because Sakura was a medical ninja at that time, or was training to be one, she could not really help out in the Crescent Moon Kingdom, which led to Tetsuo's right arm up to his elbow being petrified by Ishidate. And when Ishidate threatened to go to the village, destroy it, and personally kill Sakura, again, Tetsuo had lost it. And he had finally obtained Super Saiyan 3. But with Super Saiyan 3, he had learned a new move. A custom move I created called the Final Shining Flash. It takes, think of it like this: Vegeta's Final Flash, but instead of using the two hands that he used, one-handed, and he takes the stance of the Final Shine. But instead of just using the basic Final Shine, he condenses the Final Flash into a more destructive attack. And when he launched it, that actually obliterated Ishidate. Well, not really obliterated, but seriously wounded Ishidate. To where it forced Tetsuo out of Super Saiyan 3. And of course, Naruto got the last hit in with his Rasengan. And then from there, they went and did the mission to save Sasuke, which led to Shikamaru, Choji, Neji, Kiba, and oddly enough, this time Tetsuo Uchiha as well, all getting wounded. Because even with God's help, Tetsuo ended up getting wounded by Kimimaru. But when Tetsuo was recovered enough, well, actually, that's another thing we changed. Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, and Neji, they weren't like critically injured. Because before Tetsuo had and moved on ahead with the others, when Choji fought the one big member of the Sound Ninja 4, Tetsuo made sure that he had a bag of sensu beans. So before each fight, Tetsuo would be like, yo, here, take a sensu bean, use it when you're like close to death. So Choji ended up after using the red chili pepper and beating this Sound Ninja 4 or his like chakra absorber, right as Choji was like on the brink of death's door, he took the sensu bean and he just passed out. He ate the sensu bean, passed out, and by the time the Anbu Black Ops came to get him, he was still recovering, but he wasn't like near death. And of course, same with Kiba, Shikamaru, and Neji. They had all taken the sensu beans when they were like close to being dead. And Tetsuo wanting to get stronger so he could help his friends and his family, or what was left of his family, his grandmother, his grandfathers, and more importantly, he wanted to protect the woman, the one he loved, Sakura. So that's when Renji came to Tsunade's office to bring Tetsuo to the Soul Society for further training, which led to Tetsuo. But here's the thing, though: he wouldn't just start training with lieutenants and captains. He'd have to go through each ranking, from like the low class Soul Reapers to the seated lieutenants, then to the actual lieutenants, then the captains, and then lastly the head captain himself. And as he did, he learned more and more about his Sanpakuto. But how it worked in the Soul Society compared to the real world is that every year in the real world would be equivalent to 1,000 years in the Soul Society. So Tetsuo had 3,000 years of combat experience in just 3 years. He had learned medical Kido. Oh, he learned medical Kido. He learned Shikai, and he learned Bankai, along with Shunko. But he was able to impress all the captains, including the head captain. But he made it to where his mission, no, not his mission, but his goal, before he leaves the Soul Society to go back to his world, the world of the living, was to face and beat Byakuya. And it ended up happening. At first, Tetsuo was able to make Byakuya go Bankai with just his Shikai, all the way up to Senkei, Zenbonzakura, Kageyoshi. But that's where it stopped, with just Shikai. Byakuya was impressed. But when it came time for the final fight between master and student, Tetsuo played it like how Ichigo would. He pretended that he couldn't beat Byakuya's Bankai with just Shikai, and which led to him going into Bankai. And Tetsuo's Shikai is twin gun blades. His Bankai is, think, Greg's Balance Breaker from High School DxD, but without the helmet, and like a silverish white with like red outlines. This was Tetsuo's Bankai, the Bankai of his mother, Gensa Ramiko. And it eventually led to both of them going their strongest attacks. Byakuya, Gokei, Hakuteiken, Zenbonzakura, Kageyoshi. Tetsuo was Gokei, was Hakuteiken, Shinkan, Gensa, Ramiko. How that works is when Tetsuo would go Hakuteiken and would go Senkei, a sword would appear in his hand, but the sword would be just out of pure energy, unstable, where the energy would be erupting, but it would be able to clash against other blades, no problem. But when he would go into the Hakuteiken state, the blade would stabilize and form an actual like sword. And the back would open up, releasing like angelic dragon wings. So of course that clash happened, and both of them were like mutually respected. All the captains, including the head captain, then saw the fight. So of course Tetsuo then went back to the world of the living after 3,000 years in the Soul Society, but 3 years in the world of the living. He surprised Sakura by using instant transmission. And of course, during this time, Tsunade, knowing how strong Tetsuo had how strong Tetsuo was beforehand, promoted him to Chunin. And it was with that, when Tetsuo came back, Tsunade gave him the news about him becoming Chunin. And when Tsunade asked if she should inform Sakura that he's back, Tetsuo said, nah, I want to surprise her. I can sense she's not that far. So he ended up using Flash Step instead of instant transmission, because at this point he really hasn't learned that yet. But he used Flash Step to appear behind Sakura right as she was saying how much she missed him, and how she would love to feel him wrap his arms around her waist and pull her close. He did that. And right as she was about to do like her punch, he was like, been a while, Sakura. Sakura, hearing that, knew immediately who it was. And so she turned around and just hugged him. And when Naruto came back, Team 7, instead of Sai being put onto Team 7, it was Tetsuo. And with that, pretty much Team 7 still stayed together. Because Tetsuo was an extra that we threw in. Tetsuo was assigned to Team 7 as well, as the first ever for 5-man squad, because it was Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, and Tetsuo. Of course, when Kakashi's mission, like his little test, came, Tetsuo, instead of just screaming, all he did was take one stance, closed his fist, and immediately just went Super Saiyan 3. He had gained full control over it. And it led to eventually them getting the bells. And then after that, the battle against the Akatsuki happened when Gaara was taken, and which we know later was had Shikaku extracted. Tetsuo, when Naruto and Kakashi went ahead to face Deidara, Tetsuo stayed behind with Sakura and Lady Chiyo. And they just started fighting. It got to the point where Tetsuo was like, you know what? Fuck playing around. Bankai. Went into Bankai, gets a Remiko, and he just started wailing on him. Denser Remiko has two abilities. One is that it can use the reishi around it to create swords. But I'm talking like any kind of sword. Great sword, sword mace, twin swords, you name it. And the second ability, which we had to put a restriction on, is as long as the core, the center chest piece, was not broken, any damage Tetsuo would receive, let it be his head getting cut off, him losing an arm, it would always heal. Where the reishi would pull the wound, the severed part or wound, and just heal it instantly. So of course, that fight happened, and just as it did in the show, with Sasori being defeated, and then later Naruto almost losing control. Naruto losing control and almost went four tails when he saw Gaara was dead, leading to Lady Chiyo's noble sacrifice. And when the mission to go infiltrate and find Sasuke happened, and it still played out the same, except Tetsuo was there to provide backup. And from there, when Tetsuo had caught up to Sasuke's group, Heavy, the Kisame was like, huh, so the other Uchiha is here. Fine, Itachi wants to see you as well. So, of course, Kisame allowed both Sasuke and Tetsuo to go on ahead. So it was a battle of the eyes. Tetsuo and Sasuke against Itachi. Which still led to Itachi's death. Because Itachi knew he could not use the Tsukuyomi on Tetsuo. Because Tetsuo had the Mangekyo Sharingan. Anyway, when Itachi died, Sasuke unlocked the Mangekyo, which led to him going to the Akatsuki, which later leads to the battle against Danzo. Sasuke still does kill Danzo, but before Sakura could get there, Tetsuo was already there, because during this time, Goku had trained Tetsuo to use instant transmission. Which, of course, led to both of them going all out with the Sharingans, and both Tetsuo and Sasuke nearly going blind. But when Sakura got there, he had one extra thing on her. Because it was a part of Valise's will. Valise made it to where Danzo could never get her Sharingan. Because her Sharingan was hidden inside the apartment that she had purchased for Tetsuo for the moment she died. And Valise's Sharingan, since it had the power of redirection, it would be the perfect match for Tetsuo's Mangekyo. So, of course, Tetsuo used wood style to create a wood wall around Sasuke to buy him time, to buy himself some time. When Sakura came down, she gave him the Valise's Sharingans, which was in that little jar that Itachi had. Tetsuo implanted them into his own eyes. Made a couple hand signs, and used his medical keto to heal his eyes right there and then. Right as Sasuke broke through his wood style, Tetsuo had done it. He had unlocked the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And I'm calling it there because this is gonna be a 2-part one. I'm ending it where Tetsuo unlocks Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. And to let you all know what Valise's Sharingan Mangekyo was, think of hers like a twin crescent moons. So when they combined with the sun, it would form picture the sun in little spikes for Sharingan, but with the crescent moon actually behind it on each side. And it was with that Eternal Mangekyo, Tetsuo had gained Eternal Light. But I'm kind of off there. Part 2 will be next Wednesday for another story time with Dokusei, where I'll explain how Tetsuo had gained Super Saiyan 4 along with God Ki. Till then, kick back, relax, grab yourself something to drink, and I'll let my outro take it away. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like on the video and comment down below, along with subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you don't miss another upload or when I go live. If you guys are already returning subscribers, you should already know to have that like button hit, along with commenting down below and having that notification bell turned on. Now, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go deal Omega Masquerade.